Here's the firing pin. It's a straight 2 diameter firing pin. It has a little groove cut in it for the stop pin, little extractor, the striker stop pin to stop the thing falling out. Now, and regulate the backward movement of it. Now that one's marked, that's the left hand side, it's marked. I'll put that in the tin, and this one should be marked. I can't see a mark on it, but I'll put one on it and make sure. There's somebody else put something there, but it doesn't look very good. Okay, that's it. I know that's the left hand side. That one I'll leave in because it comes in and out the same way as that one. Now then, being the trigger guard unscrews from the trigger plate. Right, that unscrews from the trigger plate. There's 2 triggers and a little tiny trigger spring on the trigger plate, which keeps the triggers in contact with the sears when the gun's together. Now, I won't strip to take this out. It's very easy to disassemble. There's a little tight, small screw holding the trigger spring, which you must take out first, because that has 2 prongs on it and fits into each trigger. And the triggers are held in by one little screw at the top of this part here of the trigger plate, which is called the box. Now that one little screw holds the 2 triggers. It's very simple to take that out and put that back in. So I won't take that apart. Now the body's empty, no parts left in that. We'll regard that as covered. Now we've got 2 locks, right and the left. Now this one is cocked. The first thing you do before you start taking it apart is uncock it. In other words, let the hammer forward. And to do that, all you need to do is press against the hammer, top of the hammer, press the sear with the other hand, and let the hammer forward. When you've done that, you can then think about taking the mainspring out. Now the mainspring is at the top here at the back. Now be careful, because if one of these flies, you're going to have a hell of a job to find it, and secondly, it could hit you in the nose or face like that. Like it nearly jumped on me. Now this mainspring has got a little roller in the front end of it. It's quite a powerful little spring. That's the mainspring. Now it's got a peg on the end of it which fits into a little hole in the trigger plate. Now the next thing to remove is the bridle. Now this part, the part on the top of the lock plate there, on top of the parts, is called the bridle. It's rather a fancy shaped piece, and it's held with there's 3 pins holding it. Now, just undo the three pins, make sure they're unscrewed, and that will lift off. Okay. Start lifting the bridle off, and the bridle will come off. Now there's 3 pins in there. Now if you take them out, now look at the pins and see if they're marked. Now, the one at the bottom front end should be marked with one little cut on the shank of the pin. I can't see one on this one, so I'll put a little. Oh, there is one, yes. It's just, I couldn't see it for the dirt. Right, the mark on there. That's the front one there. That goes in the front bottom one there. Now the next top one is the next one. That should have two little cuts on it somewhere. I can't see anything on that one, but it's a different, a little bit different pin to the other one. It's got more threads on it, so that. And let's have a look at this back one. This may well be marked. See, people have different ways of marking things. Now this one's got a cut in the head of the pin instead of the shank of the pin. It's got one mark on there. In any case, if you can always leave the pins in the bridle. Leave the pins in the bridle and put them in your box. They'll probably lay them carefully in the box. They'll stay in the bridle. Okay, now the next thing is press the sear upwards and the hammer will just lift out. Now, as I say, you can't put the wrong hammers you can't put the hammers in the opposite locks. Same goes for the sears, because of the tail on them. You can't assemble them wrong. And then the last thing is, on that plate, is the sear spring. And that's just held with one screw. And you can take that out. And you can't get these mixed up either, because they're right and left. The one in the right lock won't fit the one in the left lock, because there's a little tag on the back of the spring which fits in a little tiny slot that's been punched into the lock plate. So that's the lock is disassembled. And say if you're doing a complete strip and clean on this gun, all those parts, you'd clean them up, or polish them up, and reassemble it, which I'm going to do now. And I'll reassemble this lock. And so the first thing to do is put back in do it in reverse order. You took it apart and put in the sear spring first. Put in the sear spring. And next thing to put in is the sear. That goes in the pin goes in a little hole in front of the sear spring, and you can push that around and it compress the sear spring and hold it in position. When you press the sear as far as it'll go, you can virtually drop in the hammer. It just drops in its hole. Let that go. Put the bridle on. Now the bridle holds the hammer and